You mentioned earlier on shared grievances, and a lot of people are casting this as a reshuffling of the world order. That shared grievance being against the U.S., against the U.S. dollar, Europe. Is that a fair way to interpret this from where you sit?
I would say it's not even necessarily shared grievances against the United States alone, or shared grievances against the West, but you could say sort of shared grievances against a certain configuration of power. I think that a lot of countries who have joined, a lot of countries who belong to the original BRICS, kind of the founding five, as it were, and the countries that are now these plus countries, the 6+ countries that are going to become full members as of the beginning of next year. Many of them, I should say, they don't want to dispense with their relationships with the West. Many of them have strong relationships with the United States. Many of them have strong relationships with countries in Europe. But they're saying, look, just because we are strengthening our relationships with the West doesn't mean that we don't want to also strengthen our relationships elsewhere. Just because we want to experiment more with trading in our local currencies doesn't mean that we're going to talk about a common currency. But I think that I would say the general sentiment that brings together all of these countries, even those that have very strong relationships in the West, is a greater desire for foreign policy autonomy, a greater desire for a more multipolar international system. And so just to close, I would say the desire for a more multipolar international system, the desire for an international financial system that doesn't depend as heavily on the dollar, doesn't necessarily mean you're anti-US or anti-West. And here I would distinguish between, I think that China, Russia, and now Iran, which will be joining as a full member as of the beginning of next year, those three countries, I think, would like to see the BRICS become a more explicitly anti-US or anti-West countervailing bloc. The remaining countries in the grouping, I think that they look at the BRICS as a way to maximize or enhance their freedom of maneuver, but they're not looking to make this an explicitly anti-West.
New alliance.